Ladies, gentlemen, veterans, I truly appreciate your interest in our veterans. It's very heartwarming to see this, and the number of people that have asked me for their autograph. I will try to touch on 3 areas of my activity in War II. Pacific, Pearl Harbor, Fiji Islands, and then I came back to the States, went through cadets, and was given a B-7. Well, okay, am I on? And the Cold War, 56, 7, and 8. Yes, I was at Pearl Harbor, and Saturday evening, downtown Honolulu, the street was loaded with white uniforms. I am in the Army Air Corps. I was stationed at Pinkham Field, just adjacent to Pearl Harbor. It was loaded, and the shore patrol, equivalent to the military police, were hauling quite a few drunks back to their particular ships. And as I understand it, they laid them, after they filled the rooms, they laid them out on the deck, which means that there were some who never knew we were at war and gave their life. Yes, that evening the fleet was in, it was loaded, and matter of fact, there were some free drinks given out. That may tell you something. Later that evening, I ended up, this is Saturday now, I'm speaking of, the day before Pearl Harbor. That evening, later we went to a recreational area on the north side of the island, Oahu, and spent the night. That particular night, on the beach, around 11 o'clock, before going to the recreational barracks, I saw a car on the beach, a black car, 2-seater, mafia type. I thought I'd run over there. It was a lover's rendezvous. And I'll get on the running board like I used to do in Pennsylvania, Indiana, PA, get on the running board and rock it and then run away. But I got near the car and I could see 4 heads, 2 in the front seat, 2 in the back seat. Well, I stopped. But then I noticed 2 big antennas on the rear bumper. Very tall. I have no idea how tall they were. And then I noticed that hello. Hello? Okay. I began walking backwards when I saw those antennas, and I felt something sinister. So I got just far enough away, turned around, and ran like to get away from whatever I saw. Now, I tell you that because had I known about a communique sent by George Marshall, Chief of Staff, to both Kimmel and General Short, that to anticipate some activity. Had I known that, but the communique said not to pass this information. I learned this just about 5 or 6 years ago, reading a book. I'm still learning. And I learned this, but it didn't mean anything to me. But had I had that communique, I would have been able to put 2 and 2 together, and I would have been pounding on General George Short's door that night. But I'm only a staff sergeant at the time. I'm not an officer. He was not allowed to pass this even to the lower ranking officers. And I feel to this day that even the lieutenant in charge of the radar equipment, the brand spanking new type of equipment that we had. There were 5 installations around the islands. And so the lieutenant in charge of the radar antennas, no wonder he couldn't put two and two together, and the B-17s were being flown in from the West Coast, coming in. So he mistook the Japanese armada, fleet, whatever you want to call it, for the B-17s coming in from the West Coast. Wow. But I spent the night. Early in the morning, about 7 o'clock, we got invasions. However, to make the story short, I lucked out. I thought they wouldn't make it, but I lucked out. A boat, the old beat-up freighter ship, Dutch, Boschfontein, pulled into Vidi Levu's, the large island, and they were looking for more cadets. I immediately got my application in. I had submitted it back in Hawaii, but my commander, I have reason to believe, did not want me to leave because I was a mechanic on the B-17 and the B-24. He didn't want to lose me. But anyhow, I left out. I was on board that boat back to the States. I made it. I mean, I have a chance. I have a chance. I have a chance. 20 days getting back to Los Angeles. And went Santa Ana, took a bunch of tests, exams and what have you, physical and mental, and I was then sent to Thunderbird 1, just east of Phoenix, Arizona, primaries on the Stearman. And then from there to Marana, Arizona, BT-13, basic, and then advanced to San Martha, Texas, just about 200 miles east of El Paso, and got my commission and my wings. I made it. I made it. I made it. You hear this? They asked me what airplane I want to fly. I put down number 1, B-17, number 2, B-17, number 3, B-17. And the captain thought I was being a smart ass, I guess. Sent me in to see the major. I went in to see the major, and I said, "Major, let me explain." I said, I've been a mechanic on the B-17. Why can't I fly it? All I have to do is learn how to fly it. I know all about the airplane. And he said, I get you. I'll make damn sure you're on the right train to Hobbs, New Mexico. Thank God he saw the picture. The captain didn't. But anyhow, I completed first pilot training on B-17. They sent me to Pine Park, Tampa, Florida, and gave me a crew, co-pilot, bombardier, navigator, and 6 gunners, one of which was an aerial engineer. And then we went to Gulfport, Mississippi for combat crew training, after which my crew was sent to Hunterfield, Georgia border, North Carolina, Georgia border, gave me a new B-17, and I flew to Italy via Grenier, New Hampshire, Gander, Newfoundland, Azores, which is island just due west of Lisbon, Portugal, and then to Marrakech, Morocco, Africa, and then to North Libya, Tunisia, and then north finally to Foggia, Italy, which is located on the spur of Italy, just about 200 miles or more north of the heel of Italy. From there, I arrived 1944, October roughly in that time, and there I flew 20 to 30 sorties altogether, and 21 of which was squadron and group lead pilot. And I have that on my records, and I must say this, if I don't say anything else. What I learned at Pearl Harbor was I made a lot of bad luck for myself, and it dawned on me that, well, why can't I make good luck for myself? So, what I did, well, let me first tell you this. I flew first 4 missions as a co-pilot, and but I had to teach the co-pilot how to fly formation and that kind of stuff, and I mention that because I believe that had something to do with my being asked to fly squadron lead very early in the game, and so I did. Now, I want to point out that after the 2nd or 3rd mission as a squadron lead pilot, I almost got blown out of the sky. I lied awake 4 or 5 nights, figuring out, hey, I'm going to give this back. I don't want to be trapped like that. Well, what can I do? Well, finally, after breakfast, 4 or 5 nights, I said to my bombardier, let's go for a walk. And I said to Andy, he had been an instructor bombardier at Deming, New Mexico, and he was darn good, very sharp with that Norton bomb sight. And I said to him, Andy, if I extend my base leg before turning on the final track to the target, will that in any? I knew his answer. And he said right away, he said, all I have to do is see the target on the game, every switch direction I come in on, fine. But he said, I get you. What I decided to do, and why I stayed with Squadron Lead, I'm going to turn it back. It was pure suicide as far as I'm concerned. And so so what I did was fly offset, for example, if the designated course to the target was 030 degrees, I would extend the best leg and then turn in on a track of 060 degrees. Or putting it another way, I was flying my squadron deliberately, and of course the reason for the conversation was to keep this confidential. So I would extend my base leg and then turn in offset. And I can tell you this, 9, 10 different times, I would look to the right or to the left. I'm somewhat offset now, that's what it boils down to with my squadron. And I could look to the right or left where I was supposed to be, another 100 or 200 feet to the right or to the left. The Germans were very, very accurate. Once they picked up the Able squadron, the track of which, now they know that our orders is to fly squadrons in trail to the target, you see. And it's quite a battlefield up there at 30,000 feet, believe me. It's quite a battlefield. You can see puffs of black smoke when I bombed rolling all the way to Berlin. The sky was loaded with black blasts. And what I'm trying to avoid is a direct hit on my second or third sortie as a squadron leading pilot. I almost got blown out of the sky. I barely managed to make it back home, but I did. I wasn't going to trade that. I came close to bailing out a couple of times, but I managed to get back, and for which I was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. And I didn't want any more of that. I'd rather come home, you see. And so what I did, the reason I know, is when flying the later squadron leads and flying that track, and I looked to the right or to the left where I was supposed to be, pop, 8, 9, 10, there was no way I could have survived that. So what I want to point out is that had it not been for my taking things into my own hands and making use of the, my own luck, and not only that, I stopped losing aircraft, and the number of wounded was less severe, less in number. So I felt I was justified, and I did not in any way hinder anybody else. Matter of fact, even dog aircraft who followed me was offset, and now the Germans would have to recalibrate if they thought I was a squadron. I was hoping they would consider it an abnormal blip on the radar scope, you see, which is what apparently they did, because they did not fire at me offset, you see. So, all right. let's see if there's anything else I would like to say about Europe. Let me now then talk a little bit about the Cold War. I stayed in the service in 1956, 57, 58. I was transferred to England, where I now flew the F-84F. I switched to fighters. I wanted to get fighters under my belt before I retired. And so I was in Headquarters Training Command at the time, and sent myself to Luke Air Force Base to get checked out on the F-84F, and sent myself to maintenance course at Amarillo that I established while I was in training command. 2 weeks course. After I got those under my belt, I was transferred to England, Headquarters, England. My family, my wife and my daughter. And this was when Nikita Khrushchev was premier, I guess, after Stalin. And what I want to do is explain to you the delivery of the tactical A-bomb with the F-84F fighter bomber. Say again? Did somebody say something? Well, just give me a couple more minutes here. I want them to see this. A few people are aware of this. You've heard of LeMay with his Strategic Air Command, around the clock, in-flight refueling, and that sort of stuff. But you didn't hear about the tactical F-84Fs in England to deliver the tactical A-bomb. Now, this aircraft was equipped. This aircraft was equipped with 230 tank, number 1 pilot on the left wing, and the A-bomb, tactical A-bomb on number 2 pylon, and then on the right wing, a full 120-gallon tank, and then on number 4 pylon, another 230. All this fuel was to take the aircraft to the target. The maneuver. That's what I'm going to explain to you. And what you do, I checked out. I'm an aircraft maintenance officer, maintenance control of all the aircraft. But I'm fully qualified to deliver. And what you do is when you drive up to the target, before you get there, after you positively identify the target, you drop your tanks, and you have only about 45, 55 minutes of flying time left. I didn't like that part. All right. Now, the maneuver. To deliver this A-bomb, you drop all your tanks because you're going to perform a loop. The delivery of the A-bomb. You drive right up to the target. You drive right up to the target. Let's say right here's the target. I've got all the tanks dropped off. I have only the tactical A-bomb. I drive up to this point. Now I pull a 4G. I have another instrument, 4G loop. Now here's the target. Here's the radius. And here's the aircraft straight up 90 degrees. Up. Another 20 degrees. Can you hear me? Sorry. Let's say right here is the target. I drive up, and I drive right up to it and pull a 4G loop. Here's the radius. Here I am over here. Another 20 degrees. The bomb automatically releases. I'm now about 6,000 or 7,000 feet. I can't dive bomb because if I dive with the A-bomb, and hell, I could fly. Get the point? It would fry me in the blast. So I'm getting some distance away. Now I'm up here, and at another 20 degrees, the A-bomb releases automatically. Now the A-bomb comes back, and here you are. Get the picture? And then again, after I deliver the A-bomb, I only have maybe, like I said a moment ago, I have only about 45 at the 50 minutes at the most. I've got to make it back someplace. Thank God there was not a nuclear war. Everybody would lose.